All right. The main thing this week looks like it is the juxtaposition of faith and diligence. Let's talk about that a little bit. So, this week, one of the main things that we've got going on is actually today we have a lunar eclipse, a full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces. So whenever we're looking at eclipses, then we're looking at a moment of darkness, uncertainty, and shadow, right? That's what an eclipse is. It's a moment when all three objects line up, the sun, moon, and earth line up in such a way as to cast a shadow onto each other in one way or another, right? And so a lunar eclipse is going to cast the moon into shadow. So the full moon generally shines brightly, but this time it's going to shine darkly. And so there's this a feeling of like where there is normally light, then now we have darkness. And so there's a sense of fear or terror that can come up with that when, it's going to be a fear of the unknown in some kind of way, right? So looking at that, and then not only that, but also Saturn is present there in Pisces now. Love to see Saturn in Pisces instead of Aries, because Saturn in Pisces is making this trine relationship or trine aspect to Jupiter, which is who rules Pisces. So it's a much easier going relationship, and also Saturn in Pisces is not opposite to Mars in Libra, so we love to see all of that, right? But wherever Saturn is, then we can see a certain kind of fear. Like generally, I tend to distinguish between Saturnian fear, which is the fear of things that actually are problematic and terrible, versus fear of the dark and the unknown that typically is associated with Pluto. But this time we're going to put them together because we've got eclipse stuff, which is going to be dark and gloomy by its nature. And so that shrouded in darkness sense is likely to drive a sense of like, oh, how do we do this? How do we navigate this? Now that is importantly juxtaposed against the opposition to the Sun and Mercury in Virgo. Quickly, by the way, I am Zamboni Funk. It is time to talk about the astrology of the week ahead. I always appreciate y'all being here. If you like what I'm doing here, you want to go to zambonifunk.com, you want to get a reading, you want to learn how to do astrology, you want to listen to some of my music for free online in all of the places where you can find music, go to zambonifunk.com and check those things out. If you want to send me a tip by Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, I super appreciate that. Thank you so much for doing that. Let's continue to talk about the juxtaposition of the faith of Pisces, right? Pisces is ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter is in Cancer right now, looking great. Jupiter is real good at doing the Jupiter things in Cancer, even though there's a continuous square to Mars in Libra. So there's a bit of a thorn in the side. There's something sharp and annoying and someone else's perspective that's going to be in the way that makes it difficult for you to simply have the faith that you would like to have. I was watching The Matrix the other day, and at the end of the halfway point of the third film, then Morpheus, who is the most faithful character in the bunch, has to admit the possibility that maybe the prophecy isn't true, and his whole face falls, his whole body language falls, and he's like, uh-oh, what now? Shrouded in uncertainty, and maybe we all just die now because the robots are coming to kill us or whatever, right? Feels kind of prescient in this moment, right? So that's the sense of Mars sort of in the side of that Jupiter in Cancer, right? Jupiter is the planet of faith and religion, and that kind of like full up with the spiritness, right? So, but even in that situation, Jupiter is still in Cancer, very capable of doing faith and all of the Jupiter things, growth, nourishment, all that sort of stuff. So that Pisces stuff, ruled by that Jupiter, opposite to what's going on in Virgo. So Virgo is ruled by Mercury. Happens that Mercury is there in Virgo as well. So Virgo is opposed to Pisces in a few different ways. Like first, just like geographically, they are literally opposite to one another. But then, so we can derive significations from so Pisces is the deep ocean, the wide open space. All of everything together is the space that is Pisces. Whereas Virgo cares very much about the minutia. It is the opposite to that. It's the tangible thing. It is the detail. So rather than Pisces would like to see the forest and Virgo would like to see the trees, or more importantly, the branches, the texture of the bark, that kind of thing. The detail-oriented nature of Virgo is what we can see here. That is opposite to the uncertainty that is coming with Pisces stuff right now. So Pisces is in this place where it's like, oh man, do I have the kind of faith that I need to have in order to see my vision to the end? Well, what I'm feeling like is so deeply important here, because it's not just Mercury in Virgo and the Sun in Virgo, right? But they're also going to make a conjunction this week. And so that's a Mercury Cazimi. That is Mercury in the heart of the Sun. The way that I typically like to describe a Cazimi is a special message from the king in some kind of way, right? Like there's a loudspeaker moment where Mercury, who is very good at doing the Mercury things in Virgo, Mercury is not only at home and comfortable in domicile in Virgo, but is also exalted. Mercury is in special condition here, very able to do the Mercury things. Actually, Mercury is exalted in the same way that Jupiter is exalted in Cancer, right? And actually, these are sextile to one another, and so able to cooperate in some kind of way. And so there is this opposite nature of the forest and the trees, the faith and the technical duty of Virgo, right? But what we can see here this week is that even in the face of uncertainty, or perhaps especially in the face of uncertainty, then there's a kind of task-oriented, like, I have to do my work on, like, all right, so one of my friends I wasn't planning on talking about this today, but it's one of my favorite things to think about in this kind of context, is that, like, so I had a friend who was really worried about global conflict. There's all this war taking place, and it happens that I'm paying for, like, all of it, and it's some bullshit, and I don't want any of this. So why am I paying for this? And how, like, my leaders don't listen to me, and all this, right? So one of my friends was doing some divination about that, read some cards, or I forget what it was, but it might have been I Ching, don't remember. But the response that came back in, like, how do I navigate these, like, massive worldwide global problems that I find myself wrapped up in, was, you mind your knitting. And so there's something here about doing what is mine to do, doing the small bit. It's the butterfly wings flapping that creates the monsoon across the world, right? Like, it's the sense that doing whatever needs to be done, especially on the minute scale, especially on the quotidian, daily kind of scale, where, like, you just take care of your little space, and in taking care of your little space, you make the whole world a better place. One of the things that I like to say after I come back from the bathroom is, the whole world is a better place now. Why? Because I am the world. I am part of the world. And so when I feel better, then the whole world is a better place. Literally, the whole world is literally a better place because I feel better in it, right? And so there's something here. And so it's not just about feeling better in the way that, like, if you go to the bathroom, then there's a sense of relief here, right? There's a sense here with Virgo of diligence, of fixing a problem a lot of the time. Virgo cares a lot about noticing where the flaws are, where the problems and this Mercury Cazimi is going to be very good for having very clear vision about what the problem is, where the problems can arise. And so finding those problems and fixing them. Look around you. There are problems in your environment. That you don't have to go all the way to Gaza to find a problem. You can find a problem right here in the room that you're sitting in right now. Or if not in that place, then maybe you go outside and notice some stuff in the street or in the yard or in your neighborhood community. You don't have to go all the way out to Washington to make a change in the world. You can make a change in the world right here, right now. And there's something here about having faith in that process, right? And engaging the process, not simply having faith and being like, okay, well, I guess it's going to be all right. Maybe I'm going to go to sleep now. That's not what we see in this kind of sky. There's a certain sense of, like, I have faith that by taking care of what is mine to take care of, then I can make the world a better place, and perhaps we can yet emerge out on the other side of these global conflicts in the more beautiful world that our hearts know is possible. And I don't know how that's going to happen. That's the faith bit of things, right? I don't know how my taking care of making my bed and making sure that my own life is in order, I don't know how that is going to yield a whole better world, but I can have faith in that process. And if I do what is mine to do, I actually get in there and do what is mine to do. I work out what needs to be done. I fix the problems that are mine to fix. Then somehow I have faith. I trust that it can, in fact, be better.